Welcome to the ceremony. Welcome to the ceremony. Your trip was enjoyable. I hope you made it here safely. You'll find all of your party favors tucked neatly underneath your seats. This evening has... Big ups, Moksha family. This is the 21st year since this grouping of people have been assembling conscious art and music and roots and culture in Miami. And it's an interesting place, you know. You guys know Miami. It's a intense big city with all different kinds of diverse energies, and this is our little contingency of what we do here, and I really appreciate it because you know, I resonate with this kind of family, and I like to have a place where I can come and appreciate the music and art and people and conversations that we have here. So today we're going to have an awesome panel discussion with some really amazing creators. We got Chicago hip-hop artist and wisdom keeper Illuminati Congo. Please give him an applause, please. He's gonna be performing for us tonight. That's awesome. I always love seeing him perform. Great guy. Then we got Banjo Glass. He's one of the kings of the world of art, doing beautiful pipes that you can see right in the front. We got Mama Wisdom, who I've just met 5 minutes ago, but she's a super awesome cultural, I forgot the words, artist, cultural artist, and wisdom keeper as well. And we got Choice, who's a visual artist, and also will be performing tonight with Illuminati Congo. No? By himself? That was a joke. Oh, that was a joke. Okay, these guys were tricking me, you know, and I'll look like a fool in front of everybody. How embarrassing. Okay, and then we got Trek 6, who's a legendary street artist from Miami, right? Who has come here to show his art and share his perspectives. So, I'm gonna try to like ease into this a little bit, but you guys can either go one by one in order or pass it around as you prefer. But please tell me your impression of Miami Art Basel. May it be the first one or the 20th one. We come here and there's a lot of shit happening of all different sorts. Some is fun and resonant to us. Some stuff seems from a different planet and might even burn our nervous system, and we're like, what the fuck's going on? And, you know, so there's goods and there's bads. What's your favorite and or least favorite? You don't have to even say you dislike something. You could just be like, I love everything, so it's up to you. What's your perspective on Miami Art Basel?
I have the mic, so I'll just start. That's cool with everybody. So I actually went to high school at Dash, which is a design and art high school, very close, right on the outside of Little Haiti. And I graduated 2010, so I got a chance to see Art Basel at the very younger formation days when nothing that is now was there. And it's a bittersweet feeling because you do see the gentrification of the community as well as like a lot of the artists who couldn't monopolize their work or get on top of it on a commercial standpoint get pushed out. But it's also beautiful to watch a community come together and grow and thrive off of art. And for me, it speaks on volumes of how powerful art is, that it can transform the landscape, the language, and just the whole culture of a place.
So yeah, I've been lucky that I've been able to participate in this is my 13th Art Basel straight. And it's changed quite a bit, you know, like you were saying in 2010, things were more grassroots, the neighborhood looked a little different, but the positive of it all, and even to this current day, one thing that they all have in common is that it's a meeting of the tribes. And at least for me as a graph writer and an artist that participates on an international level, it was always cool that this time of the year, so many different people from so many different countries come to this one spot to paint. And like you would get to bond with these folks and talk to them and learn about their cultures and exchange, everything from techniques to jokes, you know. And so it was almost like all these families gathering together and getting to spend that one time of the year, you know, as a whole. So this is common in all the Art Basels, I feel. And even to this day, walking around, I still see crews from New York, crews from Detroit, you know, Chris is from Canada and Peru, and just like there's all these cultures coming here at the same time, which I find that to be like really refreshing and beautiful.
Hello, my name is actually Nikila, but my art name is Mama Wisdom, so you can call me Nikila. This is my first Art Basel, and honestly, the first few days I've been running around. So today I got to go check out Wynwood some, and I got to go dancing last night. And so I've been enjoying it, but today I just got to sit there and really just watch and see like just what he was saying, just the diversity of cultures that are coming together and all the art and all the families even, you know, there's a lot of youth that I saw out there today, and just, I thought that was really beautiful, you know, that, and not just like, because you know, I was thinking about how there's, what other types of things brings families together to go out for a day, you know, and thinking also about technology, where we're going with AI, and like everybody talking about, you know, as artists, our jobs are going to be replaced and all this stuff, but like there's something cultural that the artists bring to the table that takes gathering, whether you're a youth or an elder or teenager, you know, that brings it all together in a way that's hip and fun and keeps it fresh. And so, yeah, I'm grateful to be here.
Yeah, all that sounds real good. Same. This is my third Basel. The first time was maybe 8 or 9 years ago, and we did a little thing kind of on the side of the main fair, and had a little bit of exposure. I'm a pipe maker. I make marijuana and hash pipes out of glass, and so we've had a pretty insulated little pocket of abundance that we've created over the last couple decades. And so, you know, as our craft really began in the 90s, and it was a craft, like there wasn't a real high degree of artistry so much yet, and you know, the techniques weren't developed, and nobody was really using it as a vehicle to express any type of deeper, you know, things you would think of with a company like Finer Art. So we all just kind of made all these pipes in the background for a good 10 or 15 years. Yeah, and so then in that time, you know, 8, 9 years ago, we came down and tried to do something thinking that we were just getting our voice and maybe, you know, the greater art world would notice, and they didn't, but we had a real fun party, you know? And so fast forward now to the last couple of years, and people have really been pushing on it from our community, which is, you know, it's marijuana community. It's definitely very adjacent to the conscious and visionary psychedelic community. So seeing the work that everybody's been doing down here in that time, you can feel it. Like I came last year and just met up with this group of people here, and came down again this year, honored to show work. And yeah, for me, it's just very healing. Like what I come here for is healing. I grew up in southern Michigan, really urban industrial environment. And between there and northern Michigan, where my dad and people were, and they're up on the farm, kind of out in the woods. So there's a real schism growing up. And as I kind of, you know, I mainly was down in the cities. And so when I came of age, I traveled out to Oregon and went and tried to hide in the mountains from all this crazy industry and all the different, you know, all the things that accompany like really thick Rust Belt, you know, Midwest America in the 80s. So when you know, coming back down here and meeting the whole world, like the most creative aspects, you know, like just the humanity, and like for me, it's healing to come and meet with all these different forces that are flying here from everywhere, you know, because it ties me back in with what it is that we all are, which is just a spark of creative light and energy, you know. So to be here and amplified and reflecting with everybody, I'm rolling here. I'm handing it over to the boy, but it feels so good. Thanks everybody for coming. Here we go.
Hey. So I'm Congo, as he said, and I was so glad to hear these first stories from the community who's been here, witnessing it from the get-go, because this is only my second time being able to take it in. Last time was Chris Dyer helped me experience it last time. You know, I got to give thanks for the buddies. These are like portals to people's worlds all around here in this art. and it's being honored by the city itself, by even this corporate thing is being honored. And that's sort of cool. That's sort of good. I like that. It is like the gentrification thing's happening, but somehow we're getting this art and artists in front of people, and I'm loving that. It was hard to take all of it in. Like, I'm sensitive, it's like overwhelming. And especially if you're gonna sit with everything and really appreciate it, and then just you walk fast through stuff and just be hit with these scenes. And whatever it is, it's like, it's an amazing experience, but it's overwhelming, but it's a good overwhelm. I like it, I love it, and I'm grateful to be here experiencing it.
Beautiful responses, guys. Thank you so much. Yeah, I feel, I just want to vibe out with you and resonate. Yeah, I feel like Miami or Basel, regardless of the little branch of the tree you go to or the little subculture you throw yourself in, there's lots to learn. It's a melting pot of cultural experiences where you can be inspired and then take that energy back home and expand. And then the next year you come, it's like, this is what I did after I saw that great artist that inspired me last year. And now I want to inspire you. And then we all inspire each other and we create all this resonance and energy that I really appreciate. And things change too. Like, even what's happening here at Moksha throughout the years, this has been going for 21 years. It started with like just painters and visionary artists. Now it's like, hip hop and glass and street art, and it's all more like open and malleable and flowing and changing and developing. The story continues, and we're not just staying in one box like, no, we do this. And no, we bring other cultures in and we say like, hey, I'm inspired by this and that perhaps before might have not fit in. So thank you for everybody who brings their own ingredients into this thing that we're doing together. My next question would be, I feel, and I talk as an artist, that creators have a degree of neurodivergency. We're weird, we're sensitive, as Congo said. We are walk out in this explosion of energy, and it almost like can fry our nervous system. And we don't want to close up. We don't want to put on our armors. We don't want to just be numb to the world and walk around like robots. We want to be open-hearted. We want to be like, take it all in, but at the same time, there's only so much we can handle. Do you guys have any reflections or recommendations for sensitive people like yourself or myself, how to come to an intense environment like Basel and take in the energy without frying your system?
Wow. I'm old school Miami, so for me, it doesn't really take a whole lot of like modifying how my sensitivity levels are, because I'm in this all year round, But one of the things that at least on the artist side, I don't know if this is applicable to anybody else, is to not take everything so seriously. Because everybody is entitled to their opinions and their expression forms and their art form and everything. But sometimes, because we're so sensitive, we're so vested in the immediate feelings we get when we resonate or don't resonate with these things. And that can cause whatever, distress in your vibes. And so for me, it's more like I can't take things too seriously. When I see something beautiful, I'm going to appreciate it. I'm going to give it that value that it has. But if I see something that I just don't, I don't gel with, rather than just giving into that, I just move on.
That's a great question, man, because I think most artists, if not all people, have that same, they're looking for that answer of like, how do we not overload, especially in the world that we live in today where the media is showing us all these things. But I think especially for artists, mine comes from my connection to God, the source, higher being, and understanding that we're all here collectively and we're all valued collectively, and that it's okay not to know what's going on. It's okay not to know what's going on within or without, but you have the confidence of knowing that you're with your God, that you're basically a healer that's healing somebody else, even if you feel like you're falling apart or the world's falling apart. It's just your experience is valid. So I think whenever I have that sense of feeling overwhelmed, I come back to self and I'm just like, this is a beautiful movie, you know what I mean? I'm starring it, but it's my intention that's gonna either make it a horror movie or like an action movie where I'm like the hero. So I think it's just remembering your worth and remembering that you're here for a reason, you know?
Thank you. So because this is my first time, you know, I haven't really taken too much in yet. Yesterday was kind of like my first day to like kind of get out and about, but getting here for me as an artist was a lot of work in terms of preparation and organizing, and so I came here kind of stressed out by the time I got here and running around getting things together. But I think for the most part, just remembering that you don't have to see everything and be grateful. It's just, for me, the simplicity of just gratitude and understanding that every moment leads to the next, and you're gonna meet the right people and see the right things and be in the flow. Yeah, that's it.
That's good setup there. You know, between just being grounded in the vibration of the place in the first place your whole life, you've just added in all of this wonder. India, a recipe already was, you were attuned to vibrationally from, right? And then obviously, like, you just go right to God, you know, right? Yeah, if we're up and out here, which we're all creatives and we know how this society is when we're young, you know, and we have a lot of this energy, a lot of us just kind of boop, 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 rise right up here. Little Johnny's really good in art class, but we can't get him to pay attention down here. But it's like, and then we start getting good at art and doing things, and we're creatives, you know, so we're like, we unpack our bags on up here, you know? When we come down a place like this and there's all this stimuli, you know, our tendrils are just all waving out in the wind. We're used to having that safe space in our creative place at home to be able to just connect in with our family and our inspirations and our surroundings. We come down here and those tendrils are just flying around. So like you said, you know, it's just, okay. You know, it's heavy for me too, so I appreciate this question a lot. But being down here, it's like I said, it's a healing experience because I realize if I stay up here and whoo for 3-4 days, it's gonna get crazy. So I gotta get in there and be every day, every night, and just every moment of the day, and just keep on coming back to God, coming to the heart, you know, coming down to the awareness that's just watching it all. And like you said, like it's all a movie from our own perspective that is here for us to enjoy. Everything here is for our enlightenment or for our enjoyment, or both. You know, so awareness, I guess, is bringing awareness to that and noticing when it's starting to, which I'm a little bit right here, right now. So.
Honor all those things. This the magic. This the alchemy. And even like you were saying, it doesn't even have to be alchemy. It doesn't even have to be overwhelming when you're just like in that space where you just know what you're going out to do, getting it done, handling it, see a little something here, there, honor it, peace. That's cool. See some stuff you don't care for, you know, you just flow on by. Those aren't ingredients that you're putting in your cake, so you don't need to focus on those ingredients. You put the stuff you like in the cake. I look at like we are plates or dishes that, you know, have been being used throughout the day and they get dirty. That's all information is like that. It's not good or bad. When you get dirt on your plate, that's not bad. But you gotta wash it. And that's like, you know, just taking your time to be still, taking your time to go to those places with God, to go to whatever it is that puts you in that place where you're like, okay, I'm at peace. Usually it's the elements, like fire, sit with a fire, take a shower, take a bath, do some breath work, do some grounding, take your shoes off, put your feet in the ground. Like those types of old school indigenous practices, they really work in these things, and so I have to rely on it when I'm immersed in environments with a lot of stuff going on.
Beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, I also have been coming for many years, and I go hard on Basel. You know, you don't come here to, you know, go like, you know, you look also, but I come here, it's like, I want to do art here, I want to do this mural, I want to do that. I end up really exhausted. So I know to get myself a good Airbnb and take my naps in between, and also go to events that fill up my cup, not just like say last night I painted a mural till 3 in the morning with super loud reggaeton just hitting me, you know, with fumes and noise and etc. and drinking. And that's me giving my energy to everybody to perform and give a mural. But then a couple of nights before, I went to a shamanic event in Wynwood, was just like a bunch of women praying and dancing, and that filled me up. So I gotta do like a balance between both. And I'd say like an event like Moksha fills us up because we come here, we listen to actually like really good rootsy music that inspires us, and we dance and we celebrate the existence of being a human. And you know, and I don't know, I find this kind of party is one of those places that fill me up, even though I'm still working right now, I guess, or painting. Like, it's fun, you know, to play with friends. It's not really work in the end. What's my next question? I take my notes here and then I get lost. Oh yeah, we live in a crazy world, huh? And I'm not gonna go into it. We all know it. You know, we try to like forget about the crazy world, and places like this is like, I'm gonna forget the crazy world a little bit and just go out and party and enjoy and have fun. But still, we're always aware of it in our lives. And as creators, we want to help. And as you said, yeah, we're the center of our universe. We're the superhero of our own movie. But then sometimes we can question and be like, oh, is that arrogance? Like, am I being all like, you know, I ain't shit. Like, what am I doing? I did a painting. Like, is that painting really making the world a better place? You know, is my song really like activating? It's like you challenge yourself too, which is good and it's healthy. So maybe you guys can convince me back of how we're doing without, you know, being like, you know, overly egotistical. This is like a middle path thing, you know. In this crazy world that sometimes looks like it's going to shit, how are we actually going to rescue it with these humble offerings like a painting or a song or a dance or whatever you do that comes from the heart? I know, I gave you hard questions, you know, I gave you questions that I myself am pondering.
It's all good. You know, there's no real one answer to that question, because however you look at it, whether this, you know, what you do as an artist is a gift or whatever, how we use it, we could use it in so many different ways, you know, from the obvious of doing a painting that inspires someone or alters the mood of their day, you know, or to taking and diverting the funds that we make from our artwork into community-based programs. There's so many different ways you can make an impact. For many years, I used to have a mural. It was down, it's called the Loveism mural. It was in Wynwood. And it just said Loveism really big, and we had a picture of Bob, and I did a portrait of Bob Marley on it. It ran for like 12 years. And I remember sitting at the meeting for that mural, and we knew we were gonna do the Loveism, but we didn't know what iconography we were gonna, you know, use. And this mural faces I-95, so everybody who passes I-95 sees this mural. And so what I thought to the homie, Heck One, who I did collaborated with, is that we need to do something that when people see this mural, they're gonna forget being in traffic. So at first we were like thinking, oh, you know, the Beatles. But I didn't feel like the Beatles, like everybody that saw the Beatles was gonna be like, oh wow, my day's great. So, but with Bob, like, I don't know anybody who hates on Bob. So it's like you pass by 95 and you see Bob Marley and it says Loveism, and whatever, you know, relationship you have with Bob's music goes off in your head. And so that maybe de-stresses you a little bit on 95. That could be a way you change the environment. Like there's so many ways, you know, again, back to the funds. You know, when we paint for nonprofits or when we work with nonprofits and give them money for them to continue running their programs. I volunteer a lot in different programs throughout the United States, giving courses to kids, you know, and using hip hop as a bridge to, you know, at-risk youth. And that's another way. So there's no right or wrong to it. It's more like, do it. You know what I'm saying? Like if you have this gift, if you have this platform, use it for benefit. You know, some people, if they're driven by ego, they're not going to use it for benefit. They're going to always use it for self. Every chance they get, they're going to use it for self. And you can see who those artists are. You know, you can tell by the moves they make. But those who are interested in the community, it'll reflect in their art form and how they carry themselves. So no right or wrong here. It's just about being creative and actually caring enough to do it. That's all.
Yeah, no, that was real, Trey. And kind of like piggybacking off of what he's saying, I feel like that's where intention becomes so powerful, because intention is like the energy that enters a room before you even open your mouth, that you may not know it, but other people can read it. And I think that if you're going out to save the world so that you can be Superman as opposed to save the world, you're not going to do much saving. For me personally, a lot of my art is around veganism and like animal rights and environmentalism. And my intention is always to just share the information and to share how it changed my life with other people, with hopes that it'll bring some light into their life, help them. But man, it gets a lot of negative feedback, like tons, man. Like I can go through my comments on social media and I'm like, wow. And at times it can set me back and make me feel like, dude, how I can't force the horse. You can force, bring the horse to the water, but you can't force it to drink. But it's that one person. You never know that one person. You have a million people tell you this is awful, but you could save one person's life. And if your intention was just to connect with that one person, then you succeeded. And that one person gets to, create the domino effect of healing throughout. So it's like, one ripple can create a wave that can change the world. So if the intention is there. So I think the key is intention and knowing that it's bigger than you and that it's about the love, man. So, yeah.
Let's see. Well, trying to figure out where I want to take this. I started, I grew up drawing and everything, but I didn't really get into painting murals until maybe 15 years ago. I'm from Hawaii, and it was, I teamed up with some other artists there, some street artists, and we brought together a project called 808 Urban, and it's a youth arts organization, and our vision was, how can we create the Hawaii that we want to see, culturally. And so we decided to build arts teams in the high schools, murals teams in the high schools, and experiencing that and seeing the change of what muralism does for youth to become role models in their communities, to bring community resilience, to bring their community together, to research the history of their community and restore community pride. That moved me so much that I actually started getting into muralism. I was more a grassroots organizer and an artist. And so from there, now I live in California, and I've been teaching urban arts to high school and middle school students, and just did a fellowship on, personally, I call myself a cultural community artist because I don't see myself as just an artist. Like I have a very specific intention with my art, and that's to elevate communities and culture. And so, thank you. And so I end up working with, I'm Kanaka Maoli Ilocana on one side, Pacific Islander, and then on the other side, I'm Anishinaabeg, Ojibwe, Euro-American mix. So I come with like a lot of indigenous inspiration of my ancestors. And so I end up working with a lot of different communities, a lot of indigenous tribes throughout California. I work within the Black community quite a bit, and as an artist, it requires really understanding allyship and what it means to create art culturally with a lot of integrity and building relationships. And so actually here, I'll try to cut this short. I just got invited to create a mural with Overtown community. And I don't know if you guys know about the Overtown community, but it's a very historic Black community here. And I'm very honored, but my first question as an artist being outside is like, number one, I'm not from here. And number one, I'm not Black, so why are you inviting me to come paint this mural? And I want to touch in on that because as artists, I feel like there's a certain sensitivity of what it means to bring in the culture and the community work together. And so the last thing I'll say is that what I'm working on in my fellowship is I really believe culture, community, and arts can restore education. So I'm working on an initiative about educational reform because I feel like academics should be weaving in those three core forms of being. So.
Yeah, another beautiful setup. My mom is an artist and an educator and lifelong teacher, and basically, I think what we're all looking to is, the original question. It's such a dark world, and or it can be looked at as there's a lot of stuff going on. It can be scary, and how do we as artists bring our art as something that could possibly help? So when we think about like relationship, like if we think about our relationship to each other or our relationship to the earth, people's relationship to their own minds and the way that we relate with the thoughts and all of this, all of these different complex relationships. So to bring, I guess we're all doing our best at times, like you said, like if you're driving by on your grind and you see some little piece of art over on a wall that was painted and it just lightens up your day, like, art is a medicine that ripples out infinitely, right? And so even that memory, you mentioned it, and we all felt it. We felt the healing energy of that. And that mural actually did a little healing right here all these years later, just by the mentioning of it, so bringing the intention to that and considering what kind of energy, we want to see in terms of the world getting more, let's just say, harmonious with biological life. Let's just put it that way. Like we want, if we're going to have cities, we want to have them be a blessing upon the earth and not something that takes from the earth and poisons it. So I believe that's possible, and I think that, in our culture, we've all been, we all got routed early on in school, I'm sure all of us. If you like this kind of art and or make it, you were probably one of those kids in elementary school who was in detention a lot. Maybe, you got a little older, you're doing crime a little bit. Like, this society has room for, like, you're either an artist or a criminal or a musician or something, or you're plugging in, So we're all here enjoying our outlandishness, like this energy is humanity. This energy is the creative force, and we're bearing witness to it by being here and even talking about it. We know these combos ain't happening anywhere else in Basel right now, right? So I just want to give it up to our awareness, our intentions. We make intentionally spiritual art. What's that to say? We want to bring healing to ourselves and model that in our art. If that turns a light on for somebody and attracts them to this community, and this pillar we're building of light, it just goes deeper into the earth and sinks in, and she loves it. It shines right up to the heavens, and that attracts more people in. And we just keep growing, and Miami's doing that. Here we are, right?
It does seem like there's been a tradition in art that has been able to create heroes. I know if you go into the Tibetan culture, you have the rainbow body. And in Christian culture, you have Christian iconography. And these things, people, according to their teachings, is you look at it and it somehow is working on you to transform you into, to be deified or like there's things in our brain called mirror neurons. And if you look at something, or watch someone doing something, your mirror neurons can play off of that and you sort of learn it. So if you're seeing people in these crazy auras starting to fly around, maybe it's teaching us how to do like those superhero things. So I do think about that on the superhero level, that maybe our arts, maybe our ideas have the possibility to do that. But I think the question is so good because that ego can really get in the way of artists too, just thinking that they're rescuing someone. Like, I'm doing this because people need to be rescued from their ways of this or that. They need to see this art. This is the only thing that's gonna save them. And that's a little diluted sometimes, you know what I'm saying? So I like finding that balance where you do an art for the love's sake. And I think that love is what is that superhero thing. You know, self-expression is that